Hello, this is Mr. Mohammed Rajab, and today we will be discussing and explaining a new grammar rule, and that would be the passive voice. We will be opening page 96, and that's unit 11. So first, we will be giving this a good read, just like always. We will emphasize on the words which is written in red, and once we're done with that, we will switch to the definition, the formula, and we will be providing some examples as well. Okay, let's dive right in. So, first, the Acropolis was built about 2,500 years ago. It was constructed on a hill above the city. It was made from white marble. It was used as a meeting place. This stadium was built a little later than the Acropolis. It was used for sports by the ancient Greeks. It was rebuilt in 1869, and the first modern Olympic Games were held there in 1896. It was used again in the 2004 Olympics. Okay, so like was built, was constructed, was made, was used, and so on. We call these what? We call these passive voice. So what does passive voice mean? We will come to this. We will come to this now. We will be explaining the definition. I just want you to put in mind that these words are. Which grammar rules are these? Yes, passive voice. So basically it is the subject plus was for singular and were for plural plus the verb in its past participle form. Okay, so now we will be defining what is the passive voice. The passive voice is a grammatical structure where the subject of the sentence receives the action rather than performing it. In the passive voice, the focus is on the action itself or the recipient of the action rather than who is doing it. So what does that mean? Forget about the first half. I just want you to focus on the words which is written in red. So this is basically what is the passive voice. The passive voice is basically an action, or the focus is on the verb, the action itself, rather than the one who do it. So when we have a sentence, for instance, we have this: the Acropolis was built. Did they mention the one who did build the Acropolis? No, they didn't. So the focus was primarily on what? On the action. Okay. So this is what they meant by by focusing on the action instead of the doer of the action. Is that clear? Lovely. Okay. So now, as for the formula, how can we form the passive voice? It is quite easy actually. First, we will take the subject plus was or were, depending if it's singular, if the subject is singular or plural. Okay, plus past participle of the verb. So how can we form a sentence again? It is easy. If we go back again to the grammar box, we will find the Acropolis was built. So where is the subject here? It is the Acropolis. Okay, it is. I will be explaining this part later. Okay, after I explain these sentences or these examples, we have the subject is the Acropolis was built. Was, because we are just dealing with singular, just Acropolis. We don't have multiple Acropolises, right? Was built. Built is the past participle of the verb build. So it is built in the past simple, and also built in its past participle form. So, again, now I want you to focus on this example. So the letter was written by Sarah. So we won't be talking about Sarah. So the main focus or the primary or the prime focus will be on this part of the sentence. The letter was written. So normally we would say Sarah is the doer of the action, or in other words, the subject. But when we use the passive voice, we forget about the actual subject, and the subject shifts to the what we call the object. So basically, where is the receiver of the action? The letter. What is being written? It is the letter. So the one or the thing that is receiving the action, we call it the recipient or the receiver. We call the receiver what? The subject. Yes, correct. Lovely. So again, the letter is the subject. We're gonna say was because there's only one letter, and written, it is the past participle. So again, in contrast, if we said Sarah wrote the letter, Sarah would be normally would be the subject, but we are using the passive voice of course. So we're gonna say the letter was written. We will discard Sarah, and we will say the letter was written. The letter is the subject, was, we're gonna use was just like what's written here, plus the past participle, which is here, in this case, the word written. Now, jumping to the next example, we have the window was broken by a storm. Yet again, we will discard by a storm. Just forget about this part of the sentence. Instead of the storm, we're gonna say the receiver. In this case, would be the subject of the window. What is being broken? The window, right? So the window is receiving the action. So therefore, the window is the subject. We're gonna write was because we have only one window, and we have the verb broken, which is past participle. Correct. Good job. You're doing very great. So as for the third example, the picture was drawn. Okay, so the picture is the subject, was because we are dealing with one picture, and drawn is the past participle. Okay, simple and clear, right? So 4, the food was cooked by the chef. Let's discard the word or this part of the sentence. So the food is the subject, was because we are just dealing with just food, and cooked is the past participle of the verb cook. We're gonna apply the same thing with the other two examples. The homework is the subject, was because there's only one homework, and finished, it is the past participle of the verb finish. I just want you to understand that some verbs have the same past simple and past participle, so basically are identical. For example, we have just like finish. Finish, the original word is finish. Finished is past simple, and it will remain as finished even when we transform the verb into its past participle form. Is that clear? Okay, as for the last example, we have the cars. This time, the noun or the subject receiver is ending with s, so this is plural. So instead of was, we're gonna write were. So the cars were repaired last week. Repaired means fixed, right? Another word, a synonym for fixed. So the cars is or are the subjects, and were, we can just like what we had here in the formula, plus what? Plus repaired, which is the past participle of the verb repair. And yes, that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, any inquiries, anything of that sort, make sure to drop down a comment down below in the comment section, and see you in the next video.